Hey everyone, and welcome to the Art of Online Marketing live show. My name is Denise Allison, and I help you grow your business with social media and live video. So the topic of today is creating consistent content. So one of the most overlooked factors when it comes to creating a successful live show is creating consistent content. So it's not really something that you can just phone in and hope for the best and think that it's really gonna go your way unless you're showing up on a regular basis to serve your audience. So that's what I want to talk about today. So let me know in the comments if you have ever gone live before with a simple yes or no. And before we get started, I want to make sure that you're aware of the live training that I'll be doing on Thursday, September 27th, called Beat the Algorithm, Get More Visibility, Engagement, and Leads with Live Video. So I'll be putting the link right up here for you to go sign up for that. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to learn what affects who sees your content and how to make better content so that your live videos can be seen by your audience. All right, so let's get into today's topic, creating consistent content. So, I mean, consistency is not really a sexy term, and like it's not gonna sell out magazines and it's not gonna sell out reality TV shows, but it really is what builds the foundation of your live video and your social media presence as a whole. So consistency can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So I just want to clarify what I mean when I say consistency. So consistency means that you are showing up on social media in some kind of way on a regular basis. So at the same time, the same place. So if you're going to do live video, then you show up doing live video every time, and you're not like writing a blog sometimes and doing an Instagram story another time and doing a podcast another time. You are showing up in the same place on the same platforms at the same time every single time. Number two is you stay on track with your messaging and what you're putting out there. So everything is streamlined and everything is consistent. And number three is continuing to share valuable content with your audience. So number one, showing up consistently. So sometimes I'll hear people say something like, I've been live a few times and I didn't get any results. I've been to the gym a few times and I didn't get any results. So it really is about putting the time in and continuing to do it. You're not going to see results by doing it once or twice or even a handful of times sporadically. So let's take a few steps back here. So growing your business, it's about building relationships and it's about building trust. So essentially, like I always like to say, it's building that know, like, and trust factor that builds the solid foundation of your business. And this is why social media is really a fantastic tool when it comes to growing your business. So live video does all of those things, but it's like you put it on performance enhancing drugs because it makes everything go faster and better because you are interacting with your audience in a way that you can't really do with something that's written or just your voice in a podcast or with really short videos. So your audience can see you, they can see your facial expressions, they can hear your tone, they can see all of your hand movements and all of those things that aren't really possible on other mediums. And even on regular live video, you can edit a lot of things out, so you're not really getting the whole authentic experience. So you are creating more interaction and connection with your audience when you are going live. So when you want to build a trusting relationship, you need to hold up your end of the bargain, which means showing up when you say you're going to and showing up often. So business is a lot like making friends, and business is also a lot like dating. So let's say you meet someone, and you go out on a couple of dates, and then you fall off the face of the planet for a few months, and then you show up and you're like, hey, want to marry me? That is basically what it's like when somebody talks to you a few times, asks a little bit about what you're up to, tells you a little bit about them and their business, and then they're like, hey, you should buy this thing for me. So hopefully this sounds ridiculous to you. I'm hoping it does. Otherwise, maybe we're not on the same page. But that's pretty weird. So it's the same kind of thing. You need to build a relationship. You can't just put in like the bare minimum and then expect to be able to move forward with this relationship. So by showing up at the same time in the same place, you are laying that foundation you need to build trust and move the relationship from a potential customer into a real loyal customer. So you want to set that expectation by going, if you're doing live video, by going live every single week and sharing value with your audience every single time so you can build those relationships. So I go live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and it's really very rare that I will miss that. So right now, I'm not actually live because I'm actually driving somewhere, but I didn't want to leave everyone hanging, so I pre-recorded this video so that you wouldn't all be sitting in the dark being like, where's Denise? So you really do want to set that schedule, go live every single week, and make it a habit where people are expecting you to be live, and they're building a habit around that schedule that you have set out. So pick a date and a time and stick with it every single week, and it's not going to pay off immediately. It's going to take some time, and that's where consistency comes in, because you need to keep on doing it. So the next thing is your message and kind of what you're putting out there. So when you go live, the message of your content and what you're offering should remain consistent. I mean, within reason. So it doesn't mean that you can only sell one thing. Actually, it's far from it. But it does mean that you shouldn't be offering something completely different every single week. So if I was like, hey, I can help you with your live video, and then the next week I was like, hey, hire me so I can create a Facebook ad for you, and then the next week it's like, oh, by the way, I create websites, you should give me a call and I'll hook you up. And then the next week I was like, hey, do you want to write a blog? I do that for you too. And the next week I'm like, hey, let's help you really be awesome on Instagram. That would become really confusing. You become confused about what I do. You might think that I'm having a crisis of confidence in what I'm really good at. And you'll probably just be like, okay, what do you do? What are you an expert in? So, right. So your business needs to be really clear on what it offers, number one, and two, communicate that clearly to your audience and your future customers. So I have no doubt that you are a very talented person and you've gotten this far, but you do need to stay the course of what it is you are doing. So even though you have all these talents, you do need to make sure that things make sense, basically. So take a few steps back and ask yourself, okay, it's the fourth quarter of the year, for example, because it will be soon. It's the fourth quarter of the year. What am I focusing on for October, November, and December? What are the big picture goals? And what am I doing in terms of marketing that? So for me, right now, I am in live video mode. So what does that mean? I do live video mode 2 times a year. So I put all the focus on live video. So when I create my live videos are about live video. So that is what I call my anchor content. That is the main piece of content that I am creating. So I'm talking about live video with you here today. And it also means that all the little pieces of content that I'm putting out, the supporting content, they are all feeding into live video as well. So I'm not doing this video all about live video and then gonna go post something else on Facebook about Facebook ads, right? Because it throws you off and it just gets really confusing for you and your audience and those kinds of things. So you want to be focusing on one theme for that season. So even though you might offer different things, you want to put those kind of on the back burner. It doesn't mean you're not going to sell them. It means the marketing focus is on just one thing, and that's what you want people to be thinking about. Okay? And then the third thing is being consistent in the value that you are offering your audience when you go live. So what that means is you're not going to go live and then share a really awesome video or piece of content, and then the next 3 weeks you're just going to like tell a story about your day. You want to set the bar for what type of value you are going to be offering in your regular live show, and you want to stick to that. So for me, that means that every week I have a theme, and it's always about social media, and in this case about live video. There's a theme, and then there's always 3 main points. So I'm teaching you how to do that. I'm giving you some information. I'm giving you some skills and some things that you might not have known before. So that's what I do every single week. Imagine if at the beginning of every month I did a video like that, and then the next 3 weeks I was just here like interviewing my cat or telling you all about my day and that kind of thing. And it's not to say that you can't do those things. You probably don't want to interview your cat unless maybe you sell cat food, but it's not to say you can't do those things. It just means that if you are creating a live show, that you're not putting it in your live show. So what you could do is do your live show. So I do mine every Tuesday morning. Do your live show, share your value, and then the next day you could have what is called a live stream. So you are live and you are sharing some type of content, but it's not necessarily the super valuable, informational, educational piece of content. It's showing a little peek into your life. So maybe I am going to a running event, and maybe I want to show you a little live video on what it's like and give you a little bit of detail. That is definitely fine. It just should not be your show. It should be an extra piece of content that you are providing for your audience, because otherwise it's really jarring to be expecting one type of content and then tune in and it's not really what you were expecting. You're not learning. And it's just kind of a waste of time for you if that's not what you were anticipating. All right, so there we have it, creating consistent content. So you want to be being consistent in the time and the place, in the content that you're offering, and in your messaging. I switched the two over, but it doesn't matter. All right, so you want to be consistent in that. And just a reminder, I have the live online training happening on Thursday at 12 p.m. Atlantic called Beat the Algorithm. Get more visibility, engagement, and leads with live video. So I'll be putting the link above, and you should definitely join me if you are planning on doing live video, whether you've done it before or you've never done it before. But I'm going to be helping you really understand what goes into the thought process of live video, how to get more views, and how to just create a successful live video show. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all again next week.